Hello and welcome to this little Spalluccipedia video. Today I'm going to be talking about varying marauding mummies of Morecambe. But first, please give me a quick like, give a quick subscribe, and perhaps when you've finished listening to or watching this little video, have a look in the links down below. There's links there to my website, aschambers.co.uk, and varying other things which sort of like come off from that. In fact, I have a fantastic book club. Go and have a look at that. It's like gives rewards to those who want to see these videos first and help support a starving author and his even more starving cat. But anyway, so on with the mummies. So the Mummies of Morecambe actually crop up in this book, Shadows of Lancaster. I'm trying to remember when I first published this now. Let's have a quick peek, shall we? This was originally, good grief, 2016, which at the time of recording this video was actually 6 years ago. Ironically enough, the Mummies were one of my early ideas. Shadows was my third book, but I had sort of come up with the idea of using mummies in my first one, which ended up being Casebook. They weren't going to be in Morecambe. They were going to be in Monmouth. Yes, the Marauding Mummies of Monmouth. I came up with this idea because when I was 18, I went on a holiday down to Salisbury. It was a camping holiday. Personally, it was a bit of a disaster. We ended up not camping, but staying in a youth hostel, which was a very surreal experience for an 18-year-old. But I got to see Salisbury and all the surrounding area. But to get there, we sort of like drove around the area. I was the one who had the car, so I did the driving. And we went through Monmouthshire. And the name just sort of stuck. And I had this idea of marauding mummies through Monmouth. And that was about as far as it went for about 5 or 6 years. I sort of came back to the notion when I started writing the Sam stories down. And I was sort of like coming up with these ideas for this, what I realised was going to be a case book of some description. And I decided I want to go back to the mummies. The idea of this sort of like surreal idea of a group of mummies dressed up in like GI, World War II GI uniform in a World War II American Jeep, rampaging around the countryside. And I rather liked the idea. I thought it was going to be a bit fun. Couldn't use Monmouth because I realised sort of like at that point I knew nothing about Monmouth. So I transported the idea to Milnthorpe, which is a village come small town just on the southern end of Cumbria. I think it's about 20 miles or so from Lancaster, as Spliff quite rightly sings in Fury of the Fallen. And the idea then was that we're going to have these mummies rampaging around Milnthorpe. Yeah, it's going to be all great and fun. And that's about, again, as far as I got. I thought, what else can I really do with them? And then the other stories for Casebook sort of took shape. We had the case of the Satanic Suburban sitcom, racking my memory here, it's been a while. Case of the Vexed Vampire, the case of the Paranoid Poltergeist, the case of the Fastidious Phantom, and the case of the Werewolf of Williamson Park. So as a result, the mummies got shoved to the side, really. And it wasn't until I came to writing Shadows that the idea of using the mummies might actually work. But this time I transported them from Milnthorpe, because again I realised don't really know much about Milnthorpe, into Morecambe, because it was more local and it made more sense. And then I started saying, well, what could I have these mummies do? So I had them nick the statue of Eric Morecambe, which stands very proudly on the prom and prime place for everybody to see in Morecambe. And the weird thing was, a week after I had started writing the story, somebody tried to nick the damn statue. If I get a chance, I'll see if I can find some links and pop them down below. There might be something still kicking around in the local press. I'll have a look. If I can find it, I'll pop them down. And yeah, it's quite surreal. Somebody literally tried to hack this great big bronze statue off Morecambe Prom. They didn't succeed, which quite frankly they're not going to. It's a great big fella. But I had my mummies succeed and they nicked it. And if you read Shadows Lancaster and Marauding Mummies of Morecambe, you can see that they weren't real mummies. You know, there were people dressed up as mummies trying to blame Boombox Betty for being a witch. And we had the whole Pendle Witch thing coming to there. But it was great fun. And yeah, so that's how the mummies came about. So I hope you like that little chat. And say, I'll have a look, see if I can find some links. If I can, I'll pop them down below. There are links down below to my website, aireschambers.co.uk. If you're not familiar with it, go and have a little look. And on there is also a link on my website to my book club, which members of will have seen this video first. They'll have seen it a long time before anybody else. And members of the Seraph tier there actually get free books as part of their membership. So check it out. Take care. Keep looking for what lurks in the shadows of Lancaster. Quick like and subscribe. I'll see you again soon.